I'm Leigh Brown with RE/MAX here in Concord, North Carolina. Some of y'all may have seen the video that I did where I was explaining how to fill out a check for our millennial real estate clients who they've never used checks, frankly. They're in a generation that swipes everything or pays online too. Well, one of my favorite millennials, who I did not ask her permission to give her name, but it was a girl, gave me a whole list of things that millennials should know, but most probably don't. So this is episode 2 in that series, and we're going to talk about how you pick your realtor. Now, frankly, this was also brought up because I was just interviewed for an article that said, how do millennials behave well as buyers for realtors? And that title bothers me a little bit because it's coming out of a real estate viewpoint, and it's not the client's job to behave a certain way. Frankly, it's our job as realtors to create an experience that makes sense. So let me give y'all 5 things to evaluate with the realtor you select. If you're not a millennial, you're welcome to use this advice too. I will not judge. In fact, we'll just think you're advanced. And I don't know where I put my cheaters. I need my cheaters so I can read my handwriting here. I'll forget what the 5 things are. All right, the first one is continuing education. Now, if you didn't know, to become a realtor, it's actually very easy. In most states, you only take a couple of weekend classes and woo, you're allowed to help somebody with their largest financial instrument. All right, and in most states, it's only a couple of hours to keep that license. Here in North Carolina, it's 8 hours a year. I know, right? 8 hours. Our home inspectors have to do like 4 times that, but different soapbox, different day. But when you're interviewing realtors, which by the way, millennials, that's not one of the 5 things, but you're allowed to interview multiple realtors, and you're allowed not to use somebody that you don't like, okay? So you have my permission to not use somebody you don't like. Now, this thing you want to ask them is, when do you take your continuing education? A great realtor takes their continuing education right when it's available, because often that includes changes to the offer to purchase. It includes updates as far as disclosures and regulations. And if a realtor's waiting until the last possible second to take their continuing education, are they going to mess with you because the paperwork changed and they didn't know about it? You should ask this question and watch some of these realtors squirm. And I know y'all are squirming watching this right now because some of y'all don't like to take your CE. Get up and go do it. It's very, very important. Now, the second thing you want to ask is about their competence. And I know that this is kind of odd in real estate because I still can't figure out why so many people select a realtor based on who they like instead of who is competent. And by the way, the number of years the person's been in real estate has nothing to do with their competence. I've met some 2-year realtors that are knocking the cover off the ball because they're professional and they're smart and they're educated and they are on top of things. And I have met some 30-year realtors and some 40-year realtors, a whole bunch of them here lately, who all they do is gnash their teeth and whine and moan about things. Do not hire somebody who has sold one house a year for 30 years. Hire somebody that's paying attention and they know what's going on. This is very, very important. I would used to say that you could tell who they are by their initials, but right now I'm going to withhold on that because some people can't be positive, and I'm not going to be that person. Which leads me to my third thing you should evaluate them on. Evaluate their attitude. It's very important to check their attitude out because some realtors are a little negative about the current market. They feel that houses not being available and in inventory is somehow a reflection on you, the buyer. And so they'll say, well, just be prepared for multiple offers. And I say, yes, be prepared for multiple offers, but you could say it in a nice way and help somebody be educated to that point. Don't be hollering at people. I will say that some realtors have been complaining that their clients have lost out in multiple offers 5 and 6 times, like it's a personal affront to them. Let me just remind y'all, your buyer lost out on their dream house 5 to 6, 7 times, and they're heartbroken and devastated every time. And as a buyer, pick the realtor that's going to hold your hand and get you through that process, because you won't always win, but the realtor should be your partner in that, and that's part of their attitude. And think about how they are looking at things. Glass half full, glass overflowing, or empty glass people. Just run them out of your life. Now, the fourth thing you should know about the realtor that you select is this little piece of jewelry I'm wearing right here. That's my RPAC pin. Now, if you are not a realtor, you don't know all the political work that realtors do. We're not about party stuff. We're not R&D, partisan fighting. We're all about policy. Does the policy hurt you or help you? You should only pick a realtor who's wearing good jewelry like this, because somebody that's not engaged is out there trying to make a dollar off a profession without trying to protect your right to buy and sell property in the United States. Always pick that person. And by the way, That leads me to money, because money's part of real estate. Make sure that you hire a realtor who will walk you through that offer to purchase. And you notice I'm not calling it a contract. People have got to stop saying you're writing contracts. Until everybody's agreed to it, y'all, it is just an offer to purchase. And so this good realtor should walk you through that offer to purchase and say the money's going to leave your pocket here, the money's going to leave your pocket here. Millennials in particular are a generation that likes bullet points and to be well educated. They just frankly don't have anywhere to go, because some realtors are a wall of words without showing things, and that's why we're on video here today. And the last thing you want to have with your realtor is great communication. A great realtor is going to ask you as a client, how do you want me to communicate with you when I need you? Because sometimes we need you to answer the phone. Frankly, when you put your house on the market, sellers like to call us 4,000 times a day until that moment when we get an offer, and then they have vanished into the Bermuda Triangle for some reason. So do not hide from us. Don't screen my calls. I will only call if I need you. But if you are a Facebook Messenger, tell your agent that. If they are not Facebook Messengers, maybe you don't select that realtor because you really shouldn't have to bend yourself around your elbow and thumb to make them get back in touch with you. You should find out if they use fax machines. And maybe you would use a fax machine too. Maybe you don't. Ask them how they are on the telephone. How long is it going to take to get a call back? These are all important things to find out when you're selecting a realtor. It's not just the realtor's job to interview you as the buyer. It's your job to pick the right realtor, because you know what? They're not all created equal. There's some wonderful ones out there though, and if you're not in my Charlotte market and you need somebody, let me know. I got some good people I can connect you to.